I find myself grappling with the tumultuous emotions swirling within as I attempt to articulate the most devastating experience of my life. At the age of 30, I navigate the world as a software developer, immersing myself in lines of code and digital landscapes from the comforting confines of my own home. My spouse, who is 28, is not only stunningly beautiful, but also possesses an extraordinary talent in the realm of hair and makeup artistry. Her career has flourished remarkably over the last couple of years, particularly because of her affiliation with a local wedding venue owner, a connection that has proven to be immensely beneficial for her professional journey. This man, in his 40s, is married and has 3 children, yet he carries a certain charm that is undeniably magnetic. His wife, while being a devoted mother of 3, is quite attractive in her own right. I can't help but acknowledge how my spouse stands out as younger and more striking, making it easier to understand the dynamic at play here. As far as I am aware, the foundation of our marriage has been solid, filled with companionship and mutual respect. We have shared memories since our high school days, evolving from youthful friends into partners in this adventure called life. Regular date nights, an active and fulfilling intimate relationship, along with her consistent thoughtfulness and care, have left me absolutely confident in her affection for me. That's what makes the recent turn of events so utterly shocking and disorienting. Just last week, as I was typing away on my laptop, comfortably nestled in my home office, an email notification chimed from my spouse's laptop, which she had left charging in the living room. She had logged in prior to heading to the gym, a routine that she often followed without locking her computer out of habit. Curiosity took hold as I caught sight of an email preview from the venue owner. There was something in the nature of the correspondence that felt unsettling, prompting me to click and read further. The content was logistical, detailing a time and place that raised my suspicions, along with a line that sent chills down my spine. "You're incredible. I can't stop thinking about last night." My mind raced as fragments of last night flooded back to me. She had come home later than usual, stating that a long shoot with the photographer had kept her occupied. We shared a meal together, laughing and enjoying each other's company as if everything was perfectly normal. There was no hint, no whisper of the underlying tension that now pulled at the very fabric of our relationship. Faced with this revelation, the world around me began to blur. It was as if a storm had invaded the calm seas of my life, leaving me adrift and searching for answers. The thoughts spiraled in my head. How could this be happening? Was the bond we shared strong enough to survive this ominous discovery? Nothing seemed to make sense as I sat there, grappling with the weight of the situation. I'm not one to jump to conclusions or leap headfirst into accusations, but the emotional turmoil clawed at my insides, demanding acknowledgement. A torrent of questions loomed large in my mind, and I felt paralyzed by the uncertainty that now shadowed my days. In the days that followed, that email haunted me. I replayed every moment we spent together, scrutinizing our exchanges for signs of trouble. The laughter that once filled our home now felt hollow. I watched her move about the house, her smile bright and unchanged, yet I struggled to connect with the illusion of normalcy that clung to us. It was as if the vibrant colors of my life had dulled, settling into shades of gray. Each day felt like I was an actor in a play without a script, my heart heavy with unasked questions that begged to be explored. I knew I had to approach her about it, but how would I frame my inquiry without sounding accusatory or distrusting? I wanted to believe that there was a reasonable explanation behind those chilling words in the email, but the fear of confrontation gnawed at me, leaving me to relish in silence while my heart battled the impending storm of emotions. One evening, as we shared a quiet dinner, the air around us thickened with anticipation. I could see the joy in her laughter, the warmth in her eyes, but beneath the surface of my composure, discontent simmered. Should I lay it all out on the table, or should I allow the fear of the unknown to grip me a little longer? Distress twisted in my gut, and I took a deep breath, finally deciding to breach the chasm of uncertainty that had grown stark between us. "Can we talk?" I asked tentatively, my voice strained. She paused, surprise flickering across her face, as I steeled myself for the words that would follow. "I found an email." As we faced each other, Setting aside the pretense of routine, I had no idea how this dialogue would unfold. The love we had built over the years felt both fragile and resilient at that moment. I had not only unearthed a secret that could shatter our lives, but also mustered the courage to confront it. The winds of fate had shifted, and now, together, we would either navigate the troubling waters ahead or find ourselves stranded on opposing shores. I meticulously sifted through a myriad of her messages and emails, my heart racing with each flick of my finger on the screen. While the majority of the correspondence was strictly professional, there were subtle undertones that left an unsettling feeling in the pit of my stomach. A particular message from the venue owner stood out, where he lauded her for looking stunning beyond compare at a recent event, and her response was diplomatic at best. It was devoid of any affection or warmth, striking a stark contrast to the praises bestowed upon her. There was no mention of romantic feelings, but a nagging intuition told me something more significant might be transpiring beneath the surface. As I continued to delve deeper into the chaotic maze of her communications, one email caused my heart to plummet. She had made arrangements to book a hotel for both of them in town, stating it was the usual place. A visceral jolt hit me, similar to being punched squarely in the chest, and I felt my breath get caught in my throat. A wave of suffocating panic washed over me, prompting me to jump online desperately seeking answers about infidelity. I found myself engrossed in articles that detailed the typical red flags, recalling all too vividly the signs I had been witnessing. Over the past few months, her work schedule had morphed into something erratic and unpredictable. There was a noticeable shift in her wardrobe. She began to wear more stylish outfits that hugged her form in all the right places, complemented by an assortment of sexy lingerie that I found intriguing. I had convinced myself it was all for me, that perhaps she had rekindled a spark in our relationship. However, it now seemed that perhaps my optimism was misguided. Her excursions began stretching into the late hours, and she often attributed her tardiness to extended shoots or unexpected bridal emergencies. Each time she returned home, she embodied warmth and affection, enamored with my presence. In fact, she was more engaged and attentive than ever. She planned spontaneous date nights, flooded me with heartfelt declarations of love, and seemed determined to remind me of our bond at every turn. That was the most painful aspect of all. I didn't feel like I was losing her, but rather that we were more connected than ever before, which now felt like a cruel joke. With my suspicions growing stronger, I decided to scrutinize every detail of our life together. While tidying up one afternoon, I came across a small, unassuming jewelry box tucked away in one of her makeup drawers, its presence sending a thrill of curiosity through me. As I opened it, I was met with the sight of an elegant necklace, simple yet undeniably luxurious. My heart sank further at the realization that I had not been the one to gift it to her. It seemed glorious in its craftsmanship, and yet it felt so out of place in our shared world. Later that evening, as we lounged together, the necklace still weighed heavily on my mind. In an attempt to be nonchalant, I mentioned it casually. She smiled sweetly and explained that it was a present from one of her clients. At the time, I didn't press further. Her explanation seemed plausible enough. But in the wake of my escalating doubts, that same sentence now echoed in my head, spiraling into a labyrinth of insecurities. From that moment on, I shifted my focus to other details that had previously escaped my notice. It was like donning a new pair of glasses that allowed me to see into a world of secrets. I began to notice other shifts: new clothes, chic lingerie, a renewed sense of grooming, and subtle changes in her behavior that initially appeared innocent, but now seemed tinged with duplicitous intentions. Did she think I would remain oblivious? Each small observation felt like a piece of a puzzle sliding into place, revealing a picture I was desperate to avoid. I remembered the last time we had gone shopping together. She had picked out an outfit that looked stunning on her, but seemed an unusual choice for her typical style. I had praised her for it, but now I couldn't shake the feeling that she had hidden motives, perhaps dressing for someone else's approval. An array of thoughts crashed over me like a tidal wave. Was there someone else in her life? Was I merely a placeholder, a comfortable fit while she sought excitement elsewhere? What if her whispers of love were nothing more than echoes bouncing around the confines of her charming facade? The emotional maelstrom was relentless, pulling me deeper into the abyss. Instinctively, I began to piece together moments when she had pulled away, instances when her laughter seemed directed elsewhere, or when her gaze lingered a moment too long on her phone, as if awaiting a message infused with an urgency that only seemed to occupy her thoughts. Confrontation stung at my throat. Should I ask her directly and risk unraveling the delicate threads of our life together? Or should I continue this path of quiet observation, frantically piecing together the fragments while my heart threatened to splinter at any moment? Each day felt like a battle, a chaotic blend of love and suspicion. As I wrestled with the truth I feared might tear my world apart. I lay awake some nights, listening to her gentle breathing beside me, painfully aware of how the boundary between love and betrayal had become so unbearably thin. My heart ached at the thought of losing her, the woman I had built a life with, a confidant I thought I knew inside and out. Each breath she took felt like an echo of my turmoil. Could I really confront her with this whirlwind of uncertainty storming within me? Would the truth lead to devastating clarity, or a tranquil resolution? Those questions haunted my thoughts, pulling me deeper into a haunting spiral of self-doubt and confusion. For the past several weeks, I've been in a whirlwind of emotions, obsessively copying and archiving the messages from my wife's phone to my computer. It's a sinister hobby that began about a year ago, just as her business started to blossom. The excitement of her rapid success should have filled me with pride, but instead, it cast a dark shadow over our relationship that I couldn't shake. I've reached a point where I find myself doubting everything I once believed about her and us. In those messages, the ones I've poured over late into the night, there's a particular individual, the owner of the venue where she frequently hosts her events. As I read back through their exchanges, I can sense his admiration seeping through his words. He is captivated by her, that much is clear, yet she keeps him at a distance emotionally, almost like a protective shield. There's no overt declaration of affection, no heartfelt, "I miss you" or "I love you." Instead, their conversations revolve around logistics, fleeting flattery, and occasional acknowledgments of gratitude. Even so, the weight of what's unsaid looms heavily in the air. It makes no difference, for the truth is undeniable. She's involved with him, and what stings the most is the gnawing realization that she's been untruthful to me. Each chick of the keyboard as I enter the data throbs like a heartache. The more I uncover, the more lost I feel. I find myself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions: betrayal, confusion, anger, and helplessness. As I mull over the situation, I wrestle with the deep-seated fear of confronting her. How would I even approach such a fraught conversation? What words could possibly capture the labyrinth of feelings that bind me? I keep convincing myself that seeking more evidence is a prudent course of action, but perhaps it's nothing more than my instinct delaying the inevitable unraveling of our life together. The woman I thought I knew, the partner I married, now feels like a stranger entangled in someone else's life. If I were to confront her, I'm certain she'd brush everything off. She'll deny everything, her eyes dancing with practiced innocence. The turmoil within me churns as the creeping realization dawns. We live in an at-fault state. We don't have children, and if I decide to file for divorce, proving her infidelity would be my only safeguard against her claiming spousal support. The fear of her spinning a narrative against me, creating a twisted version of events that could sway others' perceptions, keeps my heart racing. In my mind, I weigh every possible outcome. Would she paint me as the villain in this story? After all, just weeks ago, I never imagined she would betray me so deeply. To gather proof, I've set up cameras and discrete devices around our home. She thinks I'm merely enhancing our security, convincing her that our homeowner's insurance would benefit from additional smoke detectors in every room. I even bought a book meant to improve marital relationships, leaving it in plain sight for her to discover. The unease that flickered across her face when she spotted it was almost too satisfying. As I await the evidence to pile up, fingerprints of betrayal digitally frozen in time, I'm also seeking counsel from attorneys. I brace myself for a prolonged battle, knowing that this dark chapter of my life is merely beginning. The ache in my heart suggests that the path ahead will be paved with obstacles. Yet I feel a strange sense of empowerment in my quest for truth. With each click of my keyboard, I navigate the treacherous waters of love, loyalty, and deception, clinging to the thin hope that I might uncover an explanation that suffices for the ache of betrayal. Understanding the depths of her choices, while grappling with my own reactions, a cocktail of rage and despair, will ultimately inform my next steps. Her laughter, the way her eyes light up when she talks about her events, feels a world away from the reality I've unearthed. I wonder if she realizes how deeply her actions ripple through our lives. In this silence, our home has morphed into stranger territory, where love once thrived and now feels overshadowed by doubt and suspicion. It feels like I'm watching a movie where the plot twists unexpectedly, a genre I never wanted to experience. I linger on my thoughts, caught in a storm of emotions that surges within me. I can't help but reflect on the years we've spent building our lives together, the moments that were captured in my memory like snapshots, each one now tainted by this new reality. What will I say should I confront her? Each potential line of dialogue spirals through my mind endlessly, your breaths of conviction battling enthralled denial. I could ask her about the messages directly, but wouldn't that just give her the chance to craft a clever narrative? Or I could try to speak about us, to delve deeper into the motivations, why she has distanced herself from me emotionally. But could I bear to hear any version of the truth I might unearth? Doubt and anxiety intertwine like a suffocating vine. Even though my efforts might seem strategic, they veer perilously close to obsession. Gathering evidence may feel justified, but hasn't love and trust always seemed like the more noble pursuit? I ponder these questions while staring at the screen, certain that I will need to act soon. Deep inside, I know that when the moment comes, I must brace myself for the truth, no matter how it shatters the fragile world we've built together. Until then, I wait. The weight of uncertainty strangles hope, yet instinctively, I know that whatever unfolds will shape my reality. I must remain vigilant, for the storm is far from over. If my story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your advice on the steps I should take. Keep in touch for future stories.